So much happened in The Boys season 3 episode 7. So sit back, kick up, and let's go talk about it. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to Kick Up Flicks. My name is Chris D, and I hope you're having a fantastic day today. The Boys season 3 episode 7 is literally fantastic. I love it. And on top of that, it ends with a wonderful hook. You have Black Noir that is trying to get his shit together in a place where he's all off by himself. On top of that, you have Homelander, who is not as hard and stern on the outside as everybody sees. He does have some chinks in his armor, and people are taking advantage of it. And guess what? It is working effectively. On top of all of that, you have Butcher, Huey, Soldier Boy. They are on this mission, but they are not on the same boat anymore. And that is what makes it amazing. When things start to crack, it is like a fissure that turns it into a glacier, that turns into like a sinkhole, which turns into back to a volcano. I mean, shit is getting ready to explode. I will tell you that much. And I love the growth in this episode for Kimiko. That was literally the focal point for me in the softness of this whole entire episode. They didn't make it singy. They kind of made it really kind of down to earth and to hold you there. That's literally all I got to say about non-spoilers. So jumping into what happened in the episode, which there are going to be a ton of spoilers in this, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I don't want to ruin it for you. Either way, we're going to start off with Homelander. Homelander is not as invulnerable as he thinks he is. Vought is literally holding his cojones as much as they possibly can. Why, you say? Because he can't do anything against January or slash Starlight, if you don't know who I'm talking about. Because she just showed him a fake video of like saying, hey, guess what? I'm recording you. And he didn't do nothing. And on top of that, he went on the defensive. He's no longer on the hunt. Why? Because he has to cover damages. But the weird part is this. Though as threatening as he is starting to realize that he is not as powerful as long as he remains in charge, because he can't just disappear for long periods of time and do whatever he wants. He is literally the face of Vought right now, so therefore he has a lot of restrictions. If he get caught once by one person and that person starts spreading it around, that is going to hurt the company far greater than what he did before. On top of that, Vicky is another person who is taking advantage of this whole entire situation in a way, only because she needs him for something specific. And guess what? He needs her too. Why? Because she can spin some stuff and really use it, because she's really good in the political field, despite her powers of being a head popper. Moving on to Maeve, I was very surprised that she was in prison instead of dead, because at the same time, that means that Homelander needs her for something, but she is holding on to her dignity, because she's like, I'm not going to let another man control me in any which way, especially one who is afraid. And she notices it. Why? Because she's probably known him the longest out of anybody in the 7 and is the most intimate and closest to him, so she can see his vulnerabilities. At the same exact time though, it is very weird that Homelander wants to have her baby so that can create a super baby that would probably be the strongest superhero ever created, naturally born on top of that. But that also reminds me of something very close to My Hero Academia, if you actually watch anime. So that comes to question, are they kind of in the same world? Now, just to quickly go over the Deep, I will be honest with the Deep. He is in a very weird place in this episode, and it just kind of make me go like, what? It's just, I don't know. I don't really see him surviving through episode 8 if there's a huge fight and he has to be involved in it. But either way, I don't know. It's a very weird place for me. A-Train, on the other hand, was a super surprise. One, that he is alive. Two, that he has the racist heart inside of his body, keeping him alive. And on top of that, I wonder what A-Train is going to do. Will he stay loyal to Vought, or will this change of heart give him a change of heart and actually switch sides to a point where he wants nothing more to do with Vought at all? Moving over to Starlight, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and Kimiko, they really didn't do anything this episode. But what happened is, this episode we learned growth from Kimiko. She has dealt with her inner issues and understands where her anger was originally placed, and it was placed in the wrong area. Her anger was placed on her power when it shouldn't have been. It was more on, she thought her power was the monster, not exactly how she used it. Now she wants to use the power for better. So she had January go grab that compound V so that way she can become the superhero she knows she can be and change to save the ones that she loves the most. And I actually respect that because it shows a sensitivity from when we first met Kimiko to where she is now. I like how she's growing as a person, and eventually, hopefully, she'll have a voice, not necessary in any which way. And on top of that, what I really do like is I loved how Frenchie really just was very accepting to it, just to say, hey, this is what I want, so I can save what's closest to me. And that is starting to show me that they are in love. And I like it because that is a question that I also had for this season and last season is, are they in love? Are they going to be a thing? And I really do hope that ends up being a thing. And next to that, you have Mother's Milk and Frenchie, how they had that moment together, that one scene about how Frenchie's, not all there, but neither is Mother's Milk. And you can see the OCD in Mother's Milk, like how things are festering him, how things are bothering him. But with his community around him, it's become more endurable, more under control, less sacrificial and more like constructive. And that's what I kind of like, saying that, yeah, granted, you're not always going to be alone, so therefore when you are not, just kind of depend on the people around you. And I think that's exactly what Mother Milk is doing. At the same time, so is Frenchie, because he really wants to break the cycle, he really wants to break the chain. And if you understand anything about breaking any kind of train or cycle in your life, you know that shit is hard as hell, but either way, it is being done. Butcher and Huey, oh my goodness. In this episode, I will tell you this, Huey is on a different plane right now. I think he might have stepped into too deep of water and he's getting ready to back up. Why? Because he's not sure he was ready for everything that needed to be done. In fact, if you notice this whole entire episode, he never once said, I'll do whatever I gotta do to make sure we gotta do what got to get done. He didn't say anything along those lines that he did in the last 2 episodes, and especially in front of January. But either way, he's second guessing what Soldier Boy is doing, and at the same time second guessing Butcher in a way. But the thing is, he's not leaving Butcher high and dry. He is sticking next to him because he sees him as a brother. Now moving on to Butcher, let me tell you something about Butcher. He was faced in this coma dream himself about his life. And I like to learn about that aspect because I always thought it was a Butcher and dad issue, but that wasn't the case. The pinnacle circle of why he is the way he is how he lost his brother. And that is seriously intense because he wanted change. And when he came out of that coma, it now created a new development, a fracture within this character of saying, do I continue doing what I need to do, or will I just change and get Huey out of this? Though in the show, they did show that Butcher is still going to do what he wants, especially after talking to January. There's also a second guess in there. I think when it counts, he's going to make it count. And that's what I respect. Now, on top of that, I forgot how many doses that they have taken. But if their brain is about to turn to mush, they can't take any more doses. I think 2 at max. So they're playing a high bowler's game right now, and I have no idea what's going to happen. But I do like the simple fact that January is going to take on the role of Starlight, or just plain old January, to go save Huey, but not for selfish reasons, for the right reasons. It's not like Huey. Huey was being very selfish when he wanted to do it. But January, no. And that, to me, is a true hero. That is a person who literally is willing to not just sacrifice himself. She's not sacrificing herself. She's just willing to save him to make sure that he doesn't go too deep. And she wants to be his anchor, to remind him of who he used to be. And that's what I respect about this portion of the episode. And that's what I love about the writing. The creators that are creating this are so smart. They are so talented. Please don't forget that. Either way, we're going to move on to Black Noir. Black Noir, oh my goodness. I will say, good half of the episode, I loved it, or a quarter of the episode. Either way, anytime they were showing Black Noir, you don't need to speak. I love the cartoons. The man is batshit crazy because he got his head, caved in, and he just kind of sees cartoons. Literally, that was a wonderful storytelling that I really did enjoy. and at the same time it got him to a position to where he can move forward and go do whatever he has to do, because I think Noir can actually fight back just a little bit, at least somewhat, and I can't wait to see exactly what he does. Now for the big kahuna, Soldier Boy, I will tell you this right now, I think this man is crazy. But even if he's crazy and, is giving off irradiation like Godzilla, and, fires like a beam of, I'm gonna burn up Compound V as if it was nothing. And I was very surprised about Soldier Boy being the father of Homelander. And on top of that, now Homelander has a father to rely on, and they might end up joining alliances. I mean, oh my goodness, can you imagine that? Somebody who is brutally strong and can take out any kind of V power. On top of that, somebody who's stronger and can fly, hear, smell, probably even taste better than anybody else, because pretty much Homelander is like the all around everything superhero. Let me know what you think about that revelation right there. And I have one more thing. We're going to go into a very quick theory moment. When Soldier Boy released his babies into a jar, and then that jar was brought over to a Vought compound where Vought took those kids and made Homelander. Homelander then had a baby with a human, which ended up being a very powerful young boy that doesn't really know how to use his powers at all. But we do know that his laser eyes, in my opinion, are stronger than Homelander's. What would then technically happen if Homelander and another superhero that were very smartly put together, how strong would that baby come out? On top of that, are any other superheroes doing the same thing? Now, another theory that I have on top of that is, if two superheroes are having babies together, does the child get A and B of parents' powers, or can the baby be grown with its own individual power that is somewhat related to the parents? I think that's kind of interesting to think. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that kind of theory. Either way, if you like what I'm doing, subscribe, hit that like button because it does help me out with that YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to click the bell notification for every time I post. You won't miss anything. And above all else, don't forget to kick up and not down. And I will see you the next time I post. Peace.